Welcome back to Michiana Mainlines. Today we really got something special for you. We've got some rare video of the South Bend Niles branch, and we'll be taking a look at that. Thank you to David Korkhouse for letting us use this video. So let's get started. Just a brief overview here of what we're looking at. Again, the map of South Bend, Mishawaka. We see South Bend main line coming through South Bend, and the line in question we're going to be looking at is the Niles to Notre Dame mostly. We do have a few shots on the French Spur and also a few shots on the Benton Harbor branch, also a few shots around the Niles area. So let's get started. This is simplicity pattern in Niles, late 60s, a southbound train coming by Simplicity. It would be approaching Wayne Street would be the next crossing, and then heading south towards South Bend. This track is still in place today in 23. Here's 9th Street in Niles, again another good winter shot, southbound heading toward Maine. This now we jump to the Benton Harbor branch. This is in the area of 4th Street and 3rd Street. Over to the right, you can't see it out of the shot, but that would be the French Spur. This here was the line to Benton Harbor. You can kind of get a glimpse of a signal off on the right-hand side there. As memory serves me, there was only one crossing signal, and I think that really protected French paper. Here's another shot of the Benton Harbor line from the caboose view. Just kind of a rough ride, it looks like, somewhere just north of Niles. We'll get a few other shots here coming up right in the kind of downtown area. There's downtown Niles. Here's the cement plant just off of Front Street. Now we get into the yard area of Niles, the engine storage. This is where the engine yard was. You can kind of see there the largeness of the property at that time. These shots probably were all taken pretty much in the 70s. Niles was a very big yard at one time. It even actually had a hump yard. But already back in the 70s, things were considerably phased down. Elkhart Yard became the dominant yard in this area, as they have the large hump as well. And so this pretty much was just kind of an engine assignment area where trains were made up, particularly the trains that were heading down to South Bend. You kind of will get a better look here in a while just of the expense of that property. It was really quite large. Crew members on the locomotive. Yeah, you can see back there just how big this thing really was back in the day. Now still several sightings, but train being made up here now. Today in 23, there still is an Amtrak facility here, kind of a maintenance facility, but that's about all that's left in this area here now. But back in the 70s, it was still used for freight train makeup. It's the main line through here now, owned by Amtrak. Amtrak taking ownership sometime in the 70s. That used to be New York Central before. This was a southbound coming through Niles. Lake Street division point. Or Lake Street Station as it was known. See a tractor on a flat car from Clark Equipment Company. Most of the shots coming up will be in the 70s. This is rounding the bend near Simplicity Pattern Company again to head the direction of South Bend going south. Most of these trains were symboled NSB1. Kind of an S-curve type of a layout there, and then a sharp curve rounding the Simplicity Pattern Company. Fairly good sized train. Once again coming down 9th Street approaching Main Street. 9th Street, the north part of it was strictly street running, crossing several streets. And then south of Main, it pretty much just ran right to the side of the street, but it did go into the middle of the street again as it approached Michigan Street. There were signals here. In fact, new signals were put up in the late 90s, just before this line was taken out of service. This portion up here was still used into the 90s to reach the French paper spur. Now here we're heading south again. This is near Fulkerson Road. The tank farm is over to the left. You see one of the tanks there. You also see a switch stand. There were 2 sidings that did serve the tank farm. There was also a siding that crossed Fulkerson Road that served a factory. Here we are at Bertrand Road. This was the team track that was located at Bertrand, and a boxcar being set off on it. Also, the Northern Indiana Electric rail line closely paralleled this line between South Bend and Niles, but that was already long gone at this time. That was the electric passenger line. Spotting the car. Getting the engine back onto the main line. Looking north at Bertrand with a train ready to proceed south. You can see the switch located close to Bertrand there as well. Hardware store over to the left. Signals here. Probably most of the roads were signaled, but some were not. Getting back onto the locomotive. Here we are at Indiana-Michigan State Line and State Line Road. Over to the left is the Kubiak's Tavern. South of State Line Road and north of Adams Road was the Palisades block station that we will see more closer later. David Korkhouse's office, as he called it. Notice the cars and locomotives swaying back and forth. But fairly good speed and fairly long train. Here's a look at the Palisades block station. You can almost read the Palisades sign, and to the left of it was the train order hoop. That is where Dave would leave train orders for the trains coming into South Bend and letting them know what cars were in the different positions at St. Mary's. so they wouldn't be surprised when they got there and would be able to figure out their switch lists and kind of plan what their moves were going to be to do their switching. Good winter scene here. Believe this was in the late 70s, 76 I believe, which was the first of 3 very hard winters in this area, which of course culminated in the January of 78 blizzard. Most of this line was done away with in the 80s. Last run was in 1981. Now approaching Brick Road. South of Brick Road, there was a few sidings that served a couple of businesses between Brick and Darden. Fairly good speed. Now we're approaching Pendle Street in Roseland. Over to the right is the Big C Lumber with some lumber carrier cars spotted there. This track basically to here was still operated by Conrail through the 80s and probably into the 90s as far as Big C was concerned. I think they still took loads here into the very early 90s until they opened up their new facility in Granger. This will then be approaching the Indiana Toll Road, and here's the Toll Road entrance ramp approaching the St. Mary's area and Douglas Road, or Brother Andre Boulevard as it is called now. St. Mary's Spur was over to the left. You can't really see it in this shot. Good shot at a Golden Dome with train passing. This is pretty much a classic shot here. I love this. Clark Equipment tractor. Engine coming off of the St. Mary's Spur. Doing their switching and maneuvers. That Spur went to the St. Mary's powerhouse in coal area. They received coal hoppers just like Notre Dame did with their Spur that went over to the right and was kind of behind the camera in this shot. Getting back onto the main track again off the St. Mary's Spur. The distance you could see a little bit of the Notre Dame Spur. Throwing the switch. Here we are at the entrance to St. Mary's, or the Avenue as it is called by many. Keep a close watch as this train comes by. What you're going to see is the engine and caboose uncouple from the other engine and then move forward. They're going to take a siding to facilitate working out the movements that they're going to make with getting cars around. And there you see the other engine detached now. Takes a lot of coordination sometimes to figure out how to get cars maneuvered, especially when sidings are only so long and you've got to get cars on one side of the engine to the other. So some planning is involved. beginning off to throw a switch back there. And a good shot of the track and the train rolling by. Niles Junction, just south of Niles now. Another southbound, I believe, NSB1. Here is the French paper spur. This is their bridge over the river, just leaving their property and heading back south to get onto the South Bend Niles branch. This bridge is gone now. This again was operated almost to 2000 out of Kalamazoo with the Conrail local. Then for a while they were getting loads at the old Simplicity complex, leaving the French paper spur. Some more shots on the line around Niles. Again, good speed. Some more miscellaneous shots. Oh, that's Niles Junction. That's where the French spur meets with the South Bend Niles line. And then the Benton Harbor would have came off of it somewhere off to the left. And so that's it for the video. Hope you have enjoyed this. Again, special thanks to David Korkhouse for the use of this video. If you're interested in the South Bend Niles line, there are more videos on this channel, so check them out. And even if you've seen them before, watch them again. There's going to be more South Bend Niles history videos coming, and a detailed look at the French paper spur. So again, like, subscribe, keep watching, spread the word. We'll see you later.